Live! What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to even the odds. We're going to talk about Devin Haney's performance with Kevin Johnson as well, the same way we did talk about Shakur Stevenson versus Kevin Johnson. All right, let's switch over to my page right quick. What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming here. I completely forgot to pull this up. Hold on one second. I gotta make sure everything is on the up and up, and we got Let's Go Champ in the forefront. We can't just leave this hanging. Let's see if we get it right here. There we go. Thank you so much, brother. Hashim47, the legend. Hashim47 starting us off with the Let's Go Champ. I'll see you too, Adrian Dones. Let's go ahead and start it off with Michael Buffer to start the show.
Ladies,
kick it off, Mike. Woo! What is going on, guys? What is going on? Adrian Dones, salute Fanatico, salute chat. Thank you so much, brother, for showing up. Thank you so much, Hashim47, for showing up. And now we're going to talk about the Devin Haney sparring session with Kevin Johnson. Now, keep in mind, a few things to keep in mind when it comes to the sparring session. It happened 3 years ago. That's number one. We got David Morales in the house. My man got the whole setup. He even got the picture on the thing, man. Jeez, Louise, look at that little picture right there. What's good, Fanatico? What's good, everyone? What's going on? David Morales, thank you for showing up, brother. What's good? Tommy Sensei, what's good, Fanatico? What's going on, brother? What's going on? By the way, I hope you guys are enjoying the Boxers Road series return as we continue season 3. And don't know how many of you guys are watching it, but I'm getting a positive reception from playing the Boxers Road series again, continuing season 3 with Fanatico Jr. as my career mode character, where I'm trying to supersede the legacy of my father, Fanatico, where he was just a two division undisputed champion. We trying to be 3 division undisputed champion. Right now, we're currently in a tournament where we're trying to win that tournament so that we could at least have a Super 6-ish tournament under our belts as well. Something that I wasn't able to do, or I didn't do. I just skipped over it because I was focusing on belts only when I was with Fanatico. What's going on, Chill Will? What's up? All right, so a few things. Yeah, bro, I ended up buying the game like a year ago, but I have no idea what to do. Oh, yo, it's you should look at my tutorial for that game. I have a tutorial up. If you go to the playlist for my Boxers Road playlist, if you go to I always keep it at the front because I know that a lot of people have problems playing the game and understanding what to do when they're playing the game. So I keep it at the front. So just click on it. There's things that I show you, little tricks that you could do. But one of the things that you could do when you're playing the game, if you don't understand it because it is in Japanese, what I do is I use the Google app. I'm not talking about Google Chrome. I'm talking about the Google app. So just get the Google app on your phone, and it actually does the Google Lens. So you could hit the translate button. And just all you got to do, you don't have to take a picture, just have to overlay it over the words, and it'll translate the words into from Japanese into when you hit translate, it uses the camera and then it looks at the words and it translates the Japanese words into English words. So when you do that, you're able to basically read everything. I got to the point where I would constantly do it, where I knew what things were what Japanese words, like maybe I couldn't pronounce them, but I knew what they meant. Like I knew that meant yes, that meant no. I knew that meant American or go to America, and this meant to go to Thailand. I already started knowing what the words were, what my managers were telling me, because there are certain things that repeat themselves. So I got to the point where I don't even use it anymore. Like I literally don't use it. I just know, this is, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If I see something that I've not seen before, then I'll pull it out. But for the majority of the time that I'm playing a game, I barely use it because over time, you just understand everything. But yeah, all you got to do is use the Google Translate on the Google app. not Google Chrome. You actually have to get the Google app. This is another thing when people are like, I have Google Chrome and I don't see it to translate. It's not Google Chrome. It's the Google app. Once you use that, just overlay, boom, you'll see it. If you want to see exactly how I do it, I do it in that tutorial. Just overlay, shows you everything, translates everything perfectly for you. Then you know exactly what to do. And some of the stuff are in English too, which was weird. I don't understand that design choice where it was never designed to come out in America, but for some reason, some of the things are in English. Don't get why. All right, so you're gonna try tomorrow. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and look at the Devin Haney sparring session with Kevin Johnson. Now, I'm going to mention this. Kevin Johnson, clearly he gets used a lot for good work, right? There are sparring footage out there, I believe, with Tank. I could even break down the Tank one in one of these future live streams. There's one with Tank. There's obviously the one that kind of went a little bit viral with Shakur Stevenson. And then there's this one with Devin Haney. This one is 3 years old, but at the time, I believe Kevin Johnson probably had around 2 losses already. Now he has 3 losses. But Kevin Johnson is still a 140 fighter, right? So he's fighting at 140. And 3 years ago, obviously, Devin Haney was not a 140 fighter. So it's definitely good work. You want to do that. You want to work with people that are heavier than you, that punch harder and all this stuff. There's definitely a consistent kind of tendency with Kevin Johnson where he tends to have this explosive kind of fighting style where he just wants to land. And he does well with that, but it works against him in terms of his stamina. And we're going to see something like that here. Now, one thing I'm going to do differently that I didn't do in the last video, let's go ahead and switch over real quick just so that we could start the process. But one thing that I'm going to do different that I didn't do in the last video is, let's see, picture in picture. Here we go. I'm going to play the whole thing. There's no sound. I turned the sound off because the only thing that I was able to find was a gentleman that posted the video, but he has commentary over it. But that's gonna clash too much with my commentary. So I've taken the audio off, and from here we're gonna go ahead and see Kevin Johnson and Devin Haney. We're gonna let it play. We're going to let the whole thing play, and then we're going to go ahead and break it down. I think that I got a lot of people giving me that critique, like, yo, let it play first, which I get, because the thing with me is I've already watched it, so I know what to talk about. Devin is the one in gold, guys. Devin is the one in gold. Kevin Johnson is the one with the red headgear. Yeah, I already watched it, so I was just breaking it down in the assumption that people had already watched it, but it was not right for me to make that assumption. People probably didn't watch it yet, so just in case you didn't watch it, here is the clip. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull it up here, and let's play. So I'm gonna let it play. I'm not gonna really say much. Let it play, and then we're gonna come back to it. Good head movement though by Devin Haney there, but you can see that even him moving his head like that and doing all that stuff, there's a lot of Kevin Johnson. There's just a lot of activity, offensive activity from Kevin Johnson, just like that. See, he likes to kind of swarm you. That's one of his styles. Good straight by Devin Haney too, and a good hook, a good right hook by Kevin Johnson. Good little jab by Kevin Johnson there. Good slip and counter by Devin Haney there. You could already see now Kevin Johnson is going to be still throwing punches over the course of this sparring session, but you can see that he does get to a space where he gets a little bit tired. Like the oomph in his attacks come off a little bit because of his sustained attack that he likes to do. But it's sparring. And remember, sparring is very difficult to determine what is going on. You don't know if they're competing for real, like, hey, let's just throw hands, let's see what happens. Sometimes they do that, but sometimes they're also working on something. So that's always something that you have to take into account. We could break this down. That's crazy. Devin Haney missed that uppercut. He threw it from like another planet. You could he tried it again. Insane. You could we could break this down all we want, and really what we're breaking down is things that have variables that we might not even be aware of, right? But we're definitely going to look at the intelligent tactics, because even though you're working on something because you want to be good at it, right? So you're not trying to necessarily get hit consistently. You are trying to counter. You are trying to deal with pressure and all that stuff. All right. Okay. Now let's bring it back. That uppercut was crazy. He threw that. Yeah, it was pretty far. Okay. So let's go ahead and play this now, right? Now we're going to play it. Now we're going to start breaking it down. You guys can see me, hear me, everything, right? All right, cool. So right off the bat, there's already stuff that you see happening that's carryover from even what we saw when he went against Shakur Stevenson, right? There's the activity. Now, he could be told, hey, listen, you're the heavier guy. We want you to come in and be aggressive. And maybe he necessarily doesn't want to fight that way in the sparring session, but because he's being asked and being paid to do this, he's like, yeah, okay, I'll be the aggressive guy. I'm going to throw a bunch of punches and we're going to work this way, right? So he's immediately throwing a bunch of punches, caught Devin Haney a few times. Like the left hook at the end caught him, but Devin Haney was able to block most of it. Good little combination, but he didn't get anything out of it. So it was a good combination. Like it was a good, smart combination, right? Because it was a switch up in terms of he went upstairs, and then went downstairs, right? So he goes for the jab, changes his position, goes upstairs, goes with the hook to try to keep him conditioned, to keep the gloves up, and then tries to go downstairs. And actually, it looks like he got a good body shot, actually. He got a good body shot, boom, right there in the bottom, and got away. So that's actually kudos to Kevin Johnson there. He was able to get out of the way. Couldn't follow up, though. Well, good move by Devin Haney. He blocks it. This is where the head movement comes in real clean by Devin Haney. Caught it on the shoulder. Didn't get caught the rest of the way. Really good by Devin Haney right there. Good slip by Kevin Johnson. Now, if you notice, he's consistently does that. That's something he did even with the Shakur Stevenson sparring session that we saw. If you aim the jab in a certain spot, he'll slip into the opposite direction. He loves to slip into the opposite direction. Sometimes he doesn't come back with a shot, right? Sometimes he doesn't try to make you pay, the second part of the make you miss. But sometimes he does this right here. But the thing that's telling about that is that it's a tendency. It's almost a thing that is just too natural for him not to do. The self-awareness is incredibly important when it comes to boxing. And if you're not self-aware, you can easily be trapped, right? So let's see if Devin Haney takes advantage of this. But he slips, boom, goes for an uppercut. It's hard to tell if it landed flush. I don't think it did, because Devin Haney looks like he has his hand up right here, and that's exactly where his hand is. So Devin Haney goes ahead and blocks that punch, to my understanding. It's hard to tell because, of course, this is still brought to you by Potato Productions, where for some reason the worst cameras ever invented are the only cameras that record sparring footage. I've not understood that. I don't understand why when it comes to recording sparring footage, we go back to flip phones. Somehow it's like they only have flip phones that work. Nothing else works. I don't get that, but for some reason that's the case with almost every sparring footage I ever see on YouTube. No matter how fresh and new it is, you would think like, how could it look like this, right? This is 3 years ago. This is 3 years ago. How could it look like this? I mean, the iPhone 12 was out, right? Am I bugging? And the iPhone 12 looked clean. It was what is it? The 2K pixels. I don't understand. I'm very confused. But I digress. So a good feint by Devin Haney. Really, really good feint. Very realistic feint too. It was he's moving up. You can see the boom right there. He reacts. He gets a reaction from him. And what does he do? He slips again. He slips the jab. He loves to slip the jab as a counter or as a defensive move to the jab. He loves that slip. Like if you aim it, this is how you can manipulate him. Unfortunately for Devin Haney, though, it is not as easy to follow up as it is for a left-handed fighter. A left-handed fighter, because think about where your jab is located and where your rear hand is located. Your rear hand is over here. If you get him to slip on the inside, you could easily bang catch him, right? The best thing for Devin Haney would be to get him to slip in the opposite direction, right? To kind of aim that in the opposite direction and see if he, slips on the other side and then catch him with this hand right here. Catch him with the rear hand. But unfortunately, he slipped that way. Devin Haney did indeed try to capitalize with an overhand, one of Devin Haney's signature punches that he loves to throw, which is that overhand right in a very awkward kind of almost illegal kind of style, but he loves throwing it. It's not quite illegal, all right? It's not quite illegal, but it's almost illegal. But Kevin Johnson ducked so much that it wasn't even a good trajectory for him. Game over. What's going on, brother? What's going on? All right, so he moves away. They're setting up. Devin Haney's holding in the center of the ring. Throws a good jab to the body, but gets caught upstairs. Boom, right there. So he goes for the body, doesn't really get anything, and gets caught upstairs for his trouble. And Kevin Johnson catches it on the shoulder as well. Kevin Johnson immediately comes back in before as he notices that Devin Haney's about to get into his reset. He immediately tries to intercept. Devin Haney's very quick, catches it, pushes the other jab off with his shoulder. Really good movement by Devin Haney here. Comes back with a beautiful left hook. So basically, Kevin Johnson didn't land anything, and then Devin Haney landed a really powerful left hook, punishing him for that barrage, right? So now that's a good thing. That's a good mental thing that he's putting in his head. It's like, I'm going to be calm and I'm going to punish you if you keep doing these barrages. So stop doing these barrages. That's basically like the without talking, just by the chess match, you're giving him that indicator. Stop doing that. Right? Stop doing that. And if he keeps doing that and Devin Haney keeps punishing him, you could take away barrage. You could start to take away him confidently just consistently throwing a barrage. So that's an important element to what Devin Haney was doing. And my goodness, now what he was trying to do over there, what he was trying to do over here earlier, he does it very well over here. And one of the reasons is Kevin Johnson goes for that lean thing that he's doing, but it's too late, right? He's trying to lean, but it's too late. And he knows it's too late, right? Like he reacted too late from it, but in his mind, he still has the tendency to want to lean out the way. So he's trying to lean, but he knows it's too late. So what he does is he holds on to Devin Haney's arm. He feels that makes it a little bit safer because it's harder for Devin Haney to move out of the way to do angle or something like that, or push or step back or whatever. So it's harder because he's holding his arm, right? So now he's holding his arm, but because he's holding his arm, it also helps Devin Haney. And this is how it helps him. Devin Haney could keep that arm really stiff and keep him from getting too far low so that Devin Haney could then hit him with that overhand that he was trying to hit him before. So this is a I got you, no, I got you, no, I got you kind of situation where he thinks He made a little mistake. He thinks he fixed the mistake, and Devin Haney is punishing him because in reality he's all discombobulated because of the initial mistake that he made where he first tried to slip and then grabbed his arm. So now Devin Haney keeps him right there, and you notice he can't go all the way low, and he goes right into the trajectory of that overhand right, perfectly being landed by Devin Haney. Actually, really, really good, and really a good comeback by Kevin Johnson, because after he gets hit by that, he uses the momentum of getting hit by that overhand right to come boom. Oh, but he actually misses. He doesn't really land it well. And let me see if Devin Haney gets anything out of that. It looks like Devin Haney could have possibly caught him right at the side of the temple there. All right, we continue. So this is a little bit more of a back and forth than what the Shakur Stevenson one was, as Shakur Stevenson didn't really engage with all of the barrage. He kind of let him do the barrage stuff while catching the punches and getting out of the way. And then he commenced his attack, right? You could see that Shakur Stevenson's attack started becoming had more oomph, more pop into them once he could sense that Kevin Johnson was kind of fading a little bit. While this sparring session, what we're seeing here is more Devin Haney engaging with Kevin Johnson, who's engaging with him. So they're both kind of, it's almost like not so much of a brutal war of attrition, but a war of attrition of trying to figure out of each of them trying to outsmart the other within the chaos of, Kevin Johnson's barrage of punches. So a feint by Devin Haney again. He anticipated that he was going to slip, but he was too slow. And Kevin Johnson actually slipped really, really well there. Goes back, catches it. Really good by Kevin Johnson there. Kevin Johnson's a good sparring partner because he gives you good work, and you can see this. He's making you think in there. That's what you want as a fighter. You want somebody that's heavier than you, right? You want somebody that's going to make you think in there because you want to train hard so you can fight easy. That's the whole point of this stuff. That's the reason they don't fight people. If you're at 135, that's the reason why people that are at 135 are sparring people that are 140, like Kevin Johnson, or 147 or 154. People do that all the time, right? We had Shakur Stevenson when he was at 130 sparring with Ugas, who was at 147. You do that all the time because it helps you when you sparring 147 fighters, 130 fighters become that much easier. When you're dealing with 147s in practice, 130s, 135s become that much easier. Good double jab by Kevin Johnson. So he got a jab here lands, and then another jab right here lands. Oh, we got Love C Shorty in the house. I just got done watching this. Kevin did good work. Yeah. Kevin did really, really good work in this one. Yeah. Good jab by Kevin Johnson. Good overhand right by Devin Haney. Catches him right on the chin. Really smart by Devin Haney. Good body shots. Good control. As you can see, Devin Haney was controlling him. By the way, let me hold on. I gotta give love to the super chat. Let's switch over real quick. Get the super chat up on here. I can't leave the super chat hanging. Thank you so much, Love C Shorty, and we're gonna put the super chat on here. Thank you, brother. Thank you. And I'm gonna go ahead and give you that heart as well. Do I think Shakur did better than Devin Haney? Now, again, one thing that I'm going to say, Devin Haney did really good in this sparring session. It's not that Devin Haney did bad, because he didn't. He actually did really good in this sparring session. The problem is that he's in the midst of the chaos as opposed to thwarting all of the chaos, right? But he still, in my opinion, from watching it, he still came out on top. But in my opinion, did Shakur do better overall by kind of stumping all of that stuff? I do believe that he did do better in the sense where he stopped it from being effective at all. It wasn't a tit for tat. It wasn't I got you better in this exchange. Oh, you got me better in that exchange, but I'm going to get you better in the next one. And the next one, I'm going to have more exchanges where I came out on top. It was more of a completely nullify, and now I'm going to do my work. with Shakur Stevenson, which in my opinion, over the course of 12 rounds, if you completely nullify something and then you do your own work and it starts to overwhelm the person, because we see that people do okay with Shakur in the beginning and then it just becomes an avalanche, right? Like with what happened with Jamel Herring. He did all right, right? He was still holding his own, but then it became an avalanche over time. And the way it looks with Devin Haney, it looks like it could still be a tit for tat where Devin Haney is getting the better of the exchanges overall. So what did you say? Basically, Shakur looked better because he was avoiding it versus Haney. He was fighting fire with fire. Exactly. But Haney was fighting fire with fire and doing better than Kevin Johnson. So I want that discrepancy to be understood, right? Like it was just cleaner for Shakur overall because he avoided it and then came in and like started putting the oomph in his shots. But Devin Haney, in my opinion, still is coming out on top in the sparring session because he's understanding what's happening. He's getting the timing and he's in the midst of the fire. Sometimes he's getting hit, but most of the times he's coming out on top. So I hope that's easy to understand. Good little feints. It's just constant feints from Devin Haney, and it's just very, very, very smart, right? It's very, very, very smart. So he goes over here. He's feinting his movement. Kevin Johnson is just guarding, protecting himself. He's throwing the jab out there as a rangefinder, gets caught with a jab. He catches the hook on the arm, gets caught with a jab again. So Kevin Johnson is constantly interrupting him, very intelligently interrupting him. Boom, catches him with that up jab right there. Catches with some good body shots by Kevin Johnson. And a beautiful uppercut. So beautiful combination by Kevin Johnson. One of those combinations that he loves to throw where he's mixing up the head and body attacks. Boom, same hand, boom, uppercut, clean, right between the guard too. Really good by Kevin Johnson. Another jab in between resets, right? Jab in between resets. Boom. Oh, actually, it looked like he got caught by Devin Haney's jab, and his jab didn't even come in. Ooh, good right hook. So this is good tracking here. What we're seeing is good tracking. So he sees that Haney is moving his head, circling his head. Boom, he tracks him because, Devin Haney's doing all of this. But a lot of times there's a flow and a rhythm. If you could track the flow and the rhythm of the head movement, you could get, you could know where his head is gonna be next. And it was one of those things where he got him, boom, framed a little bit, boom, hit him. Came upstairs. He's doing little feints to get him to move his head, to discombobulate him. See all that stuff where he doesn't really throw? Like this stuff right here where he doesn't really throw right there, that helps you even better with your tracking because now the person's kind of thrown off because you didn't throw the punch. So there isn't a rhythm, there isn't a flow. There's like a hiccup, right? So it kind of throws your whole head movement off. It's actually better if somebody's consistently throwing punches because you understand that flow. It's left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. So you understand the flow and it's easier for you to feel more in tune to the rhythm of their punches. But if they're going bat, 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 all of that stuff, it discombobulates you. It makes it harder for you to have a good head movement, good flow. But luckily he came out of that unscathed, in my opinion. Good jab by Devin Haney right there. Another good jab by Devin Haney right between the guard. You can see that little opening right there. He's taking advantage of that little opening right there. This is more of a distance control kind of situation for Kevin Johnson. He needs to get his distance right. If he gets far away enough, he could, get to a point where he could just close it and the jab is going to land here. But if he's so close, Devin Haney's going to consistently get that right into in between that guard, just like that. See. Caught him right in between that little spot. He tried to parry it, but it's too much velocity coming in. He's not moving his hands quick enough or hard enough. If he was to be further back, he would be more successful in this in defending that jab. So Devin Haney again with the feints. And look, the feints just make him react every single time. Every time. It doesn't fail. I don't think he's not reacted to any of the feints. But I'm hoping that, in these situations, Devin Haney is taking pictures. But if you notice, whoop, feint, and boom, reaction by Kevin Johnson. But Kevin Johnson's doing good. He's doing good with his reactions here. But most of that stuff was blocked. Devin Haney goes in. Is he trying to get that jab in between? Again, same thing. Jab in between the guard. So now this is one of the things. When something works, do it over and over and over again until they prove to you that it doesn't work anymore. That's one of the smartest things that you could do in boxing. He's noticing that jab is consistent and that Kevin Johnson doesn't have much. He doesn't have answers to it, or he's not answering it right now. Sometimes strategically boxers don't answer it because they want to trap you, right? But he's not answering it right now. And as long as it works, you keep using it. That's a smart thing, so that you keep giving yourself something that okay, let's see what you do. Give me something else. If you don't show me something else, I'm going to keep punishing you with this. So that's what Devin Haney is doing with that jab. And it looks like when Kevin Johnson has his hands up like that, he doesn't feel as comfortable to dip down, dip low, unless his hands are low. If his hands are low, he feels more comfortable dipping down. Because his hands are up, he feels less comfortable dipping down, and he has a much more false sense of defense because his arms are in the way. But in reality, he's leaving these gaping holes where Devin Haney is punishing him for it by getting right through. Devin Haney throws a throwaway. It looks like he's trying to set something up to get in between that guard. So Devin Haney now is elevating, getting in between that. He's elevating it. So what does that mean? He's noticing that the jab is working. He used the jab as the finder, right? He's noticing the jab is working. So we go back a little bit. He noticed, okay, boop, that works. But what if I hit him with something more powerful? I see that there's an opening there. The jab is getting through. Can I hide a more powerful punch behind my jab and then get that more powerful punch in that same gap? And that's when he's deciding in his mind, he's probably deciding, oh, I'm going to get an uppercut in there. I'm going to use a throwaway jab, tap him on the gloves, and then get the uppercut in there. So he's basically using the jab as an understanding of what's available for him to throw a more powerful punch. Instead of just throwing a more powerful punch like out of nowhere, out of the blue. What's going on, Jumpman23? So he goes fakes, tries to blind him, right? He's trying to blind him with that. And then goes for the uppercut. Boom. Now, I can't tell if he landed it, but this is like a Tayuk uppercut. Like it's like look at that. Tayuk. It's like a real powerful from another planet rear uppercut. Boom. Now, unfortunately, whoever was recording, not only is he using the first cell phone to ever release, but like the Nokia, but he's also not moving the camera. So he's probably watching the that happens to me too. If I'm there live, I'm watching it with my own eyes because you don't want to miss the moment, like, like when you're physically there, and then you tend to think you're in the right spot, but you're missing something. And this is what it looks like he's missing, getting the footage of him actually hitting him. So we don't know if it landed. It feels like it could have landed, but I don't know how much he leaned on the ropes. I don't know how far back he went. Once again, he's throwing it. Once again, he's trying to do it. Now he's coming upstairs. Now that's a smart way to, what are you doing there? You're letting him know, if I tap you, it's not just going to come straight down here. If I tap you, it might come over here. So now it's 50-50. Now you got to play the 50-50 game, and you don't know when I'm going to trigger through this spot or through over here. And you can't have them both. You can't block this and block this. You can't have them both. So you got to figure it out. Are you going to do a movement that's going to give you an ability to protect both of them, or are you going to still block? And all of this is creating mental stack. So the person is like, oh man, there's so many things now that I have to think about. And 50-50s are really tough to deal with because it's like You have to pick one, right? You have to pick. Either you're blocking here or you're blocking here. But the real smart boxers figure out ways to take even the 50-50s away completely. But I don't know if that's, Kevin Johnson's able to do that. So now, if we're looking at what he's doing, now you see how, boom, you see? That perfectly illustrates what I was just explaining. Perfectly illustrates what I was just explaining. He does the double jab, boom, and then it's like boom, right? But the next one he throws, instead of the hook, is the uppercut. But he like, that's actually a little bit too obvious, but also still the 50-50 is there. But he could also, it's such a mind game thing that he could also be thinking it's so obvious, he might not think that I'm going to switch over now. He might think that I might throw another one to make him think that I'm going to throw multiple and then go for it. So is this constant thing where it's based off of your feeling of the person. It's based off of, have you done a 50-50 before with them? How did they react when you switched it up? Did it take you some time to switch it up? Did they notice early on? Were you able to get them into the 50-50 immediately after, right after you made them think about something else? It's one of those things where it's not just like written in stone what you're going to do next. Yes, you're trying to condition them to believe something's going to happen. That's the whole point. Constantly getting somebody to believe something's going to happen and you do something else. That's the chess game of boxing. Consistently, even in defense, even in offense, you're consistently trying to get somebody to believe you're going to do something, but you do something else. And you're trying to get them to believe that the thing that you're going to do that helps you, puts them in a space that helps you get the other thing, the thing that you actually want to do. So he basically did that. And then again, as we said, he did the 50-50. Now he goes jab, jab to blind, uppercut, boom. Misses the hook. It got blocked. And then he goes back to the jab. Now he dropped his hands. So we're in a different situation. He dropped his hands. And we know when he drops his hands, he's probably going to be using the head movement as depending on where you're placing your jab. Just like he was with Shakur Stevenson when he fought Shakur Stevenson. Same thing. Every boxer has tendencies that they cannot break, or it's very difficult for them to break. But now that he's in a different situation because his hands are down, notice that Devin Haney's not just throwing because he knows that it's different now. Now things are different. When his hands are down, he reacts differently to my jabs. So he's not just throwing jabs out of nowhere. Good body jab by Kevin Johnson. So this is a good tit for tat kind of a battle that I feel that Devin Haney came out on top. Another good jab to the body and a jab to the head when he thought Devin Haney was resetting, because these are moments of reset. And why? You see it from the previous encounter, from the previous engagement when he came in and hit him with the jab. So if we go back a little bit, I'm trying to go back to the point where I love that we could do this slow motion thing on YouTube. Trying to go back to, all right, hold on. Let's go over here. Go back to the point where he hits him with the jab. Boom. See? Boom. Hits him with the jab. Very clean. Boom to the body. Doesn't do anything. That sets up the mental understanding of, okay, boom, jab, all right, cool. Boom, jab, all right, cool. He's setting that up. Kevin Johnson is actually setting that up. So then, but the next time he throws it, when you go boom, all right, cool, boom, he's going to hit you. When you're doing that, all right, cool, reset, let me get ready, let me get in position, let me start getting back into it, he's going to hit you. So he's going to show you the same look, but this time, you think you're comfortable, boom, boom, boom. He's going to continue the attack. You think you're comfortable, he's going to continue the attack. So that's actually really smart. Boom, boom, ooh. Good move by Devin Haney to catch him upstairs. Devin Haney gets caught, but he blocks it down low, hits him with a good jab, hits him upstairs. Oh, actually gets countered. Boom, by Kevin Johnson upstairs. Good jab and movement. So from a very good distance, gets that jab in and gets out of the way. Probably was anticipating that right hand, Kevin Johnson's right hand, because it had like a tell of Kevin Johnson about to throw his right hand, but he gives it up. He doesn't throw it. Good jab downstairs and doesn't follow up. But Devin Haney does something smart. He throws the jab right after. So this is Devin Haney adjusting to the moment from before. He's adjusting to the moment from before because when this came in and he ain't do nothing, it opened the floor for Kevin Johnson to make any type of decision he wants. But if you throw a deterrent like a jab right after, he can't just come in out of nowhere. So really good by Devin Haney. And then another overwhelming barrage by Kevin Johnson. Boom! Oh, Kevin Johnson. One of the things that Devin Haney is suffering from in this sparring session is getting caught on the reset. He's constantly getting caught when he thinks that the engagement is over. He's constantly like, oh, okay, now let's go for the next time. Okay, now let me prepare for the next time. And in that moment when he's trying to prepare for the next time, Kevin Johnson coming right back in and hitting him immediately. So right here, boom, again, boom. He has to be very he needs to be more cognizant of that throughout the course of this sparring session because it has happened basically throughout most of their engagement that he's like resetting and then he's getting hit off of the reset. Good counter, but wasn't able to land. Did Kevin Johnson get a body shot coming in, going into the opposite direction off of that pivot? Boom, goes over. Oh, no, he didn't hit him. He didn't hit him. Pivots out. He tried to grab him. Goes in, step in, hook. See what he gets. Overhand, clean. Hook again. Good. There's really good work by Kevin Johnson. Good movement by Devin Haney. Kevin Johnson goes for the good movement by Devin Haney. And that's it. So basically what we see here is that, in my opinion, Devin Haney outworked Kevin Johnson. But I definitely do see that Kevin Johnson in this sparring session, unlike the sparring session with Shakur Stevenson, was confident throughout the entire sparring session. What do I mean by that? There weren't moments where he was so out of it, where he was so tired or he looked tired, where he wasn't throwing much. There were so many little pockets like that against Shakur Stevenson, but that comes from frustration, right? You get more tired if what you're doing is not working. If what you're doing is not working, you actually get more tired. It gets you more tired because you feel like not only are you exerting this energy, but you're exerting the energy in vain, right? But because it's so tit for tat with Devin Haney, it keeps his confidence up. It keeps his adrenaline moving. It keeps everything going, and he's more engaged throughout the course of this round. Now, it's harder to kind of understand the full context of sparring because we just don't know. We don't know if he's tired against Shakur because they're in round 15, 16. We don't know if he's not as tired with Devin Haney because right now he's in round 5. We don't know for sure. We don't have the full context. We also don't know if Devin Haney wants him to be aggressive and Devin Haney's trying to work on counters. We don't know that, right? We don't know all of those little things that we might be missing, but we do know that no matter what somebody's working on, you don't want to get hit. You still don't want to get hit, right? If you're dealing with some stuff, you're still trying to counter. You're still trying to do good work with whatever the person's presenting to you, right? Even if, Kevin Johnson is being aggressive, he wants to be aggressive and successful. Even if Devin Haney is being defensive, he wants to be defensive and successful, right? So that we know. So getting hit is still something that's a good indicator of something didn't go completely your way. Something didn't go right, right? So one thing that I noticed so much from Devin Haney in this is that he was content with going against Kevin Johnson at his own game. He was content with, we're going to fight in this firefight thing. I'm going to throw combinations. You're going to throw combinations. Let's see who lands more, who outsmarts the other more. There were moments where Devin Haney was being very smart with his jab when he created the 50-50 over there in the corner where he was like, okay, here's the jab, hook. And then I also have the jab, jab, uppercut. Which one are you going to defend? Which one are you going to go for? Are you going to block the uppercut or are you going to block the hook? Because you can't block them both. The uppercut is going to bleed through or the hook is going to get around your guard. So pick one, right? So there were moments that he did that, but then Kevin Johnson kind of takes it away from him when he takes his guard down. Because Kevin Johnson is not as comfortable to slip so much when your guard is up as it is when your hands are down, right? So he wasn't slipping. He clearly wasn't slipping. He was trying to catch. He was trying to catch while his guard was up. And Devin Haney made him pay for that. But there were so many other moments where Devin Haney was consistently caught on the reset. So every time he thought it was a disengaged moment, Kevin Johnson made him think it was a disengaged moment and re-engaged immediately. Oh, okay. Boom, 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 boom. Like, oh, okay. I thought it was over. But it wasn't. And Devin Haney kept falling for that, falling for that. Throughout the course of this entire sparring session, Devin Haney consistently was falling for being hit after they disengaged. Right, like right there. See, like although he moved well there, you could see it happening already. You could see Kevin Johnson doing that, re-engaging after they disengage. You could see it happening. And in that instance, Devin Haney did well. He reacted well. But for the most part, there were a lot of moments where he was just caught, like, kind of like, oh, like didn't expect it, where he wanted to reset. He was thinking of what he wanted to do next. He was thinking about what he was going to do. And then, boom, he gets caught because it wasn't really a reset for Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson was still attacking. He just gave the illusion of a reset. So that's one of the things that Devin Haney struggled with a lot here. One thing that I will say he did very well is that he consistently kept feinting, and he was using those feints to his advantage in multiple instances in this sparring session. But again, guys, this is just sparring. It's just sparring. So we don't really know the full breadth, the full context of what's going on here. Heck, we don't know if Devin Haney is tired. A lot of times what happens with sparring sessions is that the person that's the main guy that paid you to come in has already sparred other people and he's now sparring you, right? So that could make him too tired to even care to deal with the reset situation. Oh, okay. I'm just too tired, man. Like, you want to hit me when I'm resetting? All right. I don't want to get hit, but whatever. I'll let you hit me. So there's a lot, there's a lot that we just don't know. But it is really good to see the decision-making process between both fighters. And although Kevin Johnson is good, in these sparring sessions, he's a good person to use to do good work. He's not been a really good professional boxer, right? So a lot of people are like, yo, Kevin Johnson's killing it. He's doing this, he's doing that. But none of this stuff is translating well to the pros. It's just not. I think he's ranked in the world. He's ranked 136 in the world. He doesn't have that many fights, but he already has 3 losses. I think in terms of just America, he's like ranked number 36 in the world. So although he's, good in these sparring sessions, he's giving them good work, none of this stuff is translating to him in the real world and in the pros actually, reciprocating, like they bringing this energy to the pros where he's doing good in the pros as well. So when people, sit there and try to say, oh, look at Devin Haney getting beat up by Kevin Johnson. Look at Shakur Stevenson getting beat up by Kevin Johnson. Even if that were the case, even if that were to be the case, right? Let's bring this back real quick. Even if that were to be the case, do you really think that Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, guys who have beaten the number one guy in the entire division, right? With Shakur at 130, beating the likes of Oscar Valdez, right? Beating the likes of Robson Fonseca, Devin Haney beating a Lomachenko, right? Beating a Jojo Diaz, a Linares. You think that these guys that's beating the number one guy can't beat the number 136 guy? I mean, it's a different story. Sparring is a whole different beast in so many different ways. So when people look at this, oh, Kevin Johnson did this to Shakur, Kevin Johnson did this to Devin Haney. When you actually sit back and think about it, it's like, well, Kevin Johnson professionally is ranked 136. Last time I checked, both Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney beat the number one people in their division, making them the number one person in their division. That's 135 people away from Kevin Johnson if we were to go rank by rank, even though Kevin Johnson is ranked at 140. But it's 136 people in terms of how good they're fighting the person, right? Even though the person's at a different division, right? Even though it's 135, it's still the best guy at 135 as opposed to Kevin Johnson being the number 136 guy, right? With like 20 wins and 3 losses. And granted, it's not about having losses. That's not the point. Boxing, if you fight the best, you're going to have losses, but he hasn't really fought anybody of like a really good caliber. For some reason, he doesn't perform well when the lights are on. Does he give these guys good work? Sure. In this situation right here, he's giving Devin Haney good work, in my opinion. He's creating situations that Devin Haney has to adjust from, that Devin Haney has to create smart entries for. Devin Haney can't just come in and do whatever he wants and just, have fun in there, in a sense. He has to create his offense. He has to work off of his defense. So there's a lot of things going on here for Devin Haney that Devin Haney has to think about. So, of course, yeah, Kevin Johnson's giving him good work. And even when we look at the Shakur Stevenson fight, the fact that he was doing those barrages early on and Shakur Stevenson couldn't just be offensive immediately, had to kind of sit back, let him throw those punches. That also gives Shakur good work, right? Is making Shakur have to be patient and think about what he's going to do next and when his entry is going to be and when will it be his turn? When will it safely be his turn, right? And Shakur is good at kind of deciphering when those moments are, which is what he was able to do in the sparring session. But it was still good work in the sense that he had to be patient. He couldn't just be, pounding him out, just doing whatever he wanted. He needed to wait and find those openings, even if for a lot of those punches weren't landing. That's not the point. The point is you didn't have a free, it wasn't free, right? You couldn't just go in there and just start hitting him and picking your shots and laser targeting him and just having a blast in there. You weren't able to do that. And with Devin Haney, same thing in a different way. With Devin Haney, it was more the tit for tat. Devin Haney trying to win out in the exchange, and Devin Haney using feints and doing all these smart things to try to get on the inside and actually connect with his punches, which he did a lot of good work right here, right? The uppercut. And then he's going to give him the 50-50. Now he's going to do the hook. And then he's going to do the uppercut off of the 50-50 because now he has his mental stack thinking about, just like that, what we saw. Thinking about both the hook and the uppercut after those jabs when Kevin Johnson has his guard up. Notice now that Kevin Johnson has his guard down, Devin Haney ain't really doing all that extra stuff that he was doing with the multiple triple jabs and getting on the inside. So it's still a good thing to see these sparring sessions, but I definitely caution people, stop looking at sparring so like eagle eye and like just trying to use that as a way to say somebody's trash or somebody is good or what have you. Like I feel like if Ryan Garcia was to fight Rolly Romero, Ryan Garcia would probably beat Rolly Romero under the lights. However, Rolly Romero in all of the sparring sessions that we've seen when he would spar Ryan Garcia would get the better of Ryan Garcia. Rolly Romero will get the better of Ryan Garcia, but I do believe that Ryan Garcia could do better than Rolly Romero if they were to fight each other in a fight, in a pro fight. So there's a lot of things that you gotta take sparring with a grain of salt. It's good to see the technique. It's good to see the things that they're doing, but definitely take sparring with a grain of salt. Let me go ahead and switch over now to my Facebook. And we still got this up, so let me close that up. Once again, thank you so much, Love C Shorty, for that. I appreciate it. Basically, Juice God. Basically, Shakur looked better because he was avoiding it versus Haney. He was fighting with fire with fire. Correct. Lord knows Haney will be hugging and running without the big gloves and headgear. It all depends. It all depends who he's fighting, and if the person's giving him trouble. Right, you're gonna hold and hug and do all these things to smother a person who likes to fight on the inside, like a Lomachenko, which I don't blame him, right? Because that's what Lomachenko likes to do. So he's gonna try to thwart him as much as possible. Damn, I'm late, but what's good, Fanatico? What's going on, brother? He tried to send him to the upper room. Yeah, he tried to. That was one of them Mortal Kombat uppercuts for sure. Loma had success with that too. I'm not sure what you was referencing here. Game over. Oh, probably catching him on the reset. Yeah, Loma was consistently catching Devin Haney on the reset. And it makes it hard for Devin Haney to get good offense because it does create a level of insecurity in those moments, right? So when do you start? You start to feel like, when is my turn, right? When is it really my turn? Is it my turn now? Do I have to wait a little bit more? And it just, even here, it just didn't seem like he ever adjusted to it. And against Lomachenko, sure, he won the fight, but it never looked like he ever adjusted to it. It's just like this fight. I mean, this sparring session, this little clip that we saw. In my opinion, I got Devin Haney outworking Kevin Johnson from the clip that we saw. But it don't mean that the stuff that Kevin Johnson was doing was ever being completely thwarted, was ever being completely adjusted to. Like the whole attacking on the reset, it was not being adjusted to by Devin Haney in this fight. Haney is so limited. I mean, Haney is a good distance fighter. He's a very, very, very good distance fighter. Does he have power? Not really. Does he have good, like, kind of, he has a phenomenal jab, right? He has a phenomenal jab. And that's perfect for distance, for fighting at a distance, right? That's literally what you use. Fighting at a distance is like the best thing for you when it comes to, the jab is the best thing for you when it comes to fighting at a distance. So I do think he has things that are good. I don't think that he has so many different tools in his toolbox. I don't think he does. Even when you saw the sparring session between him and Shakur, and granted, of course, you need to get context. Everything is contextual. But still, it looked like he had a lot of issues where there were things that he was just giving Shakur on a silver platter. So he has to be conscious of, like, other things other than keeping distance. Right? Other than keeping distance. That's not the only thing sometimes a fighter's going to make it harder for you to keep that distance. Like Jojo Diaz. He gave Devin Haney a hard fight. But Devin Haney he's resourceful and he's gritty, so he's able to, work through those things with Devin Haney and even Lomachenko, right? You could say he won or he lost, but he won. So he was able to work through a lot of those things when they're trying to force the fight to be on the inside. Have a high-profile boxer ever been KO'd during a sparring session? Yeah, there's been many instances of a high-profile boxer getting KO'd. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there have been instances of high-profile boxers getting KO'd in sparring sessions. That's never a good thing, but it has happened. It don't matter till the lights is on. Yep. And we've seen Kevin Johnson, when the lights turn on, now all of a sudden, all of this stuff this praise that he's getting right now, it falls on deaf ears because he's not actually performing to that level. He's ranked 136. Granted, there's thousands of fighters in the division, so it's not bad, right? It's a way above average, obviously, but it definitely isn't elite or the best in division kind of situation, right? So all I say to people that want to point at these sparring sessions, the thing I always say, what I want to say is, well, the man is ranked 136, and these guys have beaten people that were ranked number 1, number 2, number 3. I mean, if they could beat a number 1 or number 2 or number 3, it ain't a fluke, and they're definitely going to easily beat a number 136 in the world. It's just not going to be hard. This is Remy. Oh, okay, Remy, what's going on, brother? What's up? Yeah, that's what I was talking about, punching on the reset. Okay. I figured that's what you meant. How do you see Shakur versus Haney going if they are to fight? I honestly see Shakur being too much for Devin Haney. I look at the sparring sessions to kind of get an understanding of what they could do against each other. Granted, that sparring session was old in the sense that it was before Shakur went to the Olympics. Right before Shakur went to the Olympics, he was in the Olympic trials, I believe, or right before he started the Olympic trials. And then we know he went into the Olympics, went all the way and became a silver medalist. But this was before that, and he was still doing well while Devin Haney was already a pro. Granted, Devin Haney is younger than Shakur Stevenson, but he was already a pro at the time because he went pro early. I think, he went pro early. He went pro very early. I believe he was a pro at the time that they sparred in the Mayweather boxing gym at that when the sparring session that exists on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, just go and you could go ahead and watch it, and you can see the sparring session between the two of them. But yeah, looking at that, I could see even at that time, Shakur had smart tactics that were working. Right, he was reading Devin Haney very well. He was doing little feints, and Devin Haney would lean in a certain way. He'll do the feint and then catch Devin Haney where he was gonna be. He loves doing that a lot, and that takes a lot of confidence and a lot of understanding of your opponent. But Devin Haney also had good moments against Shakur Stevenson as well in those sparring sessions. So, in my opinion, I think Devin Haney hasn't gotten that much better from that sparring session than he is now. And I think Shakur has gotten exponentially better since he wasn't even a pro. He wasn't even fighting in the pros. And now he's been fighting the number one guys, beating everybody, 2-division champion. So yeah, and he's about to be a 3-division champion on Thursday when he fights De Los Santos, which we will be live. I might skip Wednesday just so that I can ensure that I'm live on Thursday when Shakur Stevenson fights De Los Santos, because I really want to be live for that fight. All right, guys, let me get through some of these last ones, but we are going to end the live soon since we're already past 1 minute past. Devin has a great jab. One of those jabs look annoying to deal with. Yes, he does. Didn't Mike get KO'd in sparring? You talking about Mike Tyson? I think so. I mean, I don't recall. I don't remember, but there have been high profile boxers that have gotten knocked out. I think Haney went pro at 15. He definitely went pro really young, and he fought in Mexico. I think Shakur will take over Haney when it comes to the mid-range, to the inside game, because that's the weakest point of Haney. The thing is that Haney is distance fighter, but the thing with Shakur is he's the best distance control fighter. So that's going to clash with Haney's best weapon. And then Shakur is going to control the distance to the point where he's going to get on the inside when he wants to, and he's going to be in the right spot to ensure that he doesn't get hit and he counters, because that's just how good he is on his feet with Shakur. Shakur is just placement, his placement of his body. He's just really good, really smart with that stuff. So it's going to be really tough for Devin Haney to deal with that, because Devin Haney's bread and butter is distance fighting at a distance. But what do you do when you're fighting someone at a distance that he controls, that he's very good at controlling this? That's going to just be a tough thing for Devin Haney. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and end the stream here, guys. Thank you so much. Of course, as always, we go live every Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern time to 8 p.m. Eastern time. However, this week we might switch it up because on Thursday is the Shakur Stevenson fight. We might not be live on Wednesday so that we could go ahead and be live on Thursday. Now, if there's big news, really crazy news that comes out on Wednesday or before or Tuesday or whatever, then we might go live on Wednesday just to talk about that news, or we still might just go live on the Shakur Stevenson fight and talk about it during the Shakur Stevenson fight with the watch along. And remember, when we watch along here, we have the timer here. We're connected to the rounds, to the breaks and everything. So it's all synced, and it's just a much more contextual experience if you do the watch along here with Boxing Fanatico. Okay, until the next one, guys, thank you so much. Take care. You take care as well, David Morales. And we will see you guys on Thursday, more than likely on Thursday. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, because people watch these videos on demand. The Shakur Stevenson sparring session thing has over thousands. It has 1,000, like I think almost 3,000 views already, 2,000 something views. And it was not from the live itself. It was from people watching the video on demand after the fact. So please, guys, hit the like and hit the subscribe button so you know when we go live, whenever we go live. All right, until the next one, guys. Peace out.